Did anyone else start to lose the overall feeling of that holiday or Christmas spirit as they grew older? Life starts to bring so many new challenges, so many new faces, so many new opportunities to your front door as you get to grow up, and then Christmas isn't quite just what it was when you were a kid. Did that happen to anyone? Did that make you look at how Christmas is a little bit differently? Did you really lose track of the time because you're so busy, you're so focused on your own life that Christmas is just another day of the year where, yeah, you get a few more things, you get some new books, maybe some new toys, obviously if you're growing up. As you grow older, maybe you just want money. Am I the only one who really feels that? Is that anyone else, or in anyone else's mind? Does that feeling resonate with you? And when did that happen? When did that start? When did you start to see Christmas differently? When did you start to see Christmas as not necessarily a job or an obligation, but just another day? Because when you're growing up, Christmas is such a big deal. You know, you get all these presents underneath the tree. You get to wake up your parents really early when they probably want to sleep in. You go down and you get to open up all these presents that were delivered to your house. And it's such a great feeling because it's this one day of the year where it happens. Yes, on your birthday, you get gifts, you get presents that you get to open, but Christmas, it's all-encompassing. It's in one day, so many different things happen. You probably go see your family. I know I've seen my dad's side of the family for many years on Christmas, get to go over there, eat some really good food like I had done about a month ago when Thanksgiving rolled around, and got Christmas music playing, and it's a whimsical day. It's a whimsical experience. Then you grow old. Then you grow older. I know for me, this sentiment really started to get into my life probably around high school, probably more near my upperclassmen years of high school, not just my junior year and senior year especially, where college is now on your mind for most people. College isn't for everybody. I'm not saying you have to go to college, but it's on your mind. You're doing applications. If you have an early decision, you're waiting to hear if you get in. And Christmas kind of just is there. It's there. Yes, it's Christmas. Yes, it's a great day. It's Christmas after all. But it's there. It's just there. It doesn't really feel like when you were a kid. I know for me recently, probably at the beginning of the month, yes, I try to think my way through. I watched and was able to find and then watch this old Disney sing-along song, this Christmas montage from the 90s, about a half hour long. And for me personally, I've been able to watch those over the years. My grandma lent them to my mom, and they showed them to my sister and I growing up to get us over the fear of these mascots being larger than life. We weren't overwhelmed like some other kids were when, you know, they see Mickey for the first time and he's this giant mouse. You're like, oh my God, it's overwhelming. You know, I've seen a lot of kids cry when Mickey comes in just because of how scared they are. That wasn't me. And I was watching this Disney sing-along songs Christmas montage, and within the first 3 songs, I actually felt myself getting emotional. I teared up. I didn't full-on cry, full-on meltdown, but I remember just watching these same songs that I had watched for years on end with my family, and I got choked up. It was as if I was looking into a past lens of my life. It was as if I was looking at what Christmas should be. And then when you see that, you put that juxtaposition with your own life and you think, why isn't Christmas like that anymore? Why isn't Christmas like that? Why is it all of a sudden when you go to college and now you're starting to buy your parents presents and maybe presents for your friends if you do Secret Santa, which I've gotten to do the last few years, that's another person you have to buy something for. And you start to see that Christmas costs a lot of money to put together. It really does. And you know, you look at your finances and you've taken a big hit, maybe big, maybe little, depending on how much your gifts cost. I'm not saying you're spending like $300 on your family and friends. Maybe you are. If you're able to shell out that kind of money, I am really proud of you, and you should be proud of yourself for that. But really, it's always interesting to look at how Christmas, as you go through your life and go through the years, is different. Still fun again, but it's different. And then while I'm not at this stage in my life, I will be in that stage of my life one day. Once you are a parent and you have children, while maybe your 20s, your late teens, and up until you become a parent, Christmas is more of spending time with family and getting that whole act in order. Now all of a sudden you're maintaining the Christmas spirit. Now you're the one who's not only just ordering the gifts, but you're building up what Christmas is to your kids. Maintaining that legacy that was passed on to you, even though you didn't necessarily know when you were a kid growing up. You have these traditions, and I'll talk about traditions. I was texting one of my friends who I recently reconnected with from starting this channel, and she asked me, what kind of traditions did your family have on Christmas? And two of the traditions that my family had is we had a lucky pickle ornament. Yes, a pickle ornament where my parents, and more specifically my mom, because I don't think my dad would go through the effort of doing this, but she would hide it within the tree. And it would be up to my sister and I have a twin sister, for those who might just be watching me for the first time, it would be up to us to find it. Who would be the first one to find this lucky pickle and have luck for the rest of the 12 days of Christmas and then into the new year? Mostly my sister won that. I was never really good at finding this lucky pickle. But that's a Christmas tradition that my family had. That's something that I grew up with. Just like watching the Disney sing-along songs, that's another tradition. And then you had a third tradition where I grew up personally, we don't have a chimney in our house. And so it was such a big deal where we'd have a key for Santa. We'd have a key for Santa to be able to get into the house and deliver the presents. That's something where my mom mentioned when I talk with her about these ideas. She usually gives me further resources and further details to add. My sister and I, growing up, were very methodical about that. We're like, how is Santa gonna come to our home? We don't even have a chimney for him to slide down. How is he able to do that? Well, we have a key. We have a key that we place at the front door, and Santa's able to stop on by, deliver his presents, and go on his merry way. Now, as we grow older in life, and maybe we don't maintain these traditions as much, how do we maintain the Christmas spirit? How do we do that? I know this year I'm already comparing myself to last year, and we're not even halfway through the month of December at the time of putting this out there. I already feel like, compared to where I was last year when it comes to Christmas spirit, I am way below. I was going to the gym consistently this time last year. I'm not really doing that now. Life's been very busy. I haven't been able to make time for it. And to and from the gym 4 times a week, I was blasting Christmas music in my car. That was actually the first year in quite some time where I genuinely was on that same wavelength of the Christmas spirit. And that's not been something that I've been able to maintain this year. So how do you maintain the Christmas spirit? How do you, as you grow older and life adds layers that you have to peel back and work through, how do you make it a priority to celebrate Christmas? Yes, you probably still celebrate with your family. I believe this year it's just going to be me at home with my family. But how do you do that? What are you going to do? What traditions do you have? How do you maintain those traditions? What new traditions do you want to start? I know something I do want to talk about in the future is actually starting traditions, starting new traditions. Whether it be Christmas, whether it be New Year's, because that's on the horizon. Don't worry, I'll get to it. But how do you maintain the Christmas spirit? How do you keep that same energy that you had all stored up in you as a child when you're now in your 20s? As for me, where I stand in life currently, in the coming weeks, it will mark officially 2 years since I graduated from college. I was able to leave a semester early with my degree and get out without debt. Thankfully, I always go back to that for myself, and I say I got out without having to pay student loans. I'm pretty lucky to be able to say that. How do you keep that Christmas spirit alive? Well, you have to help put the Christmas tree together. That's something I think that is mandatory, not just when you're 5, but when you're 25, 45, 65, 85. If you get to triple digits, 105 even. You help the Christmas tree come together. You help bring it up out of the basement, or maybe you go to buy a tree. You go to, whether, at least in my case, you have the fire department down the hill from where I live, where they have Christmas trees you can buy, or you go to somewhere else and you buy a Christmas tree. I never personally got to really do that as a kid growing up. The tree that my family has been here for, quite frankly, forever. I don't know how old this tree is. We have set it up. I know last week we had a quick little mention that there was the tree out here where I record, but we have set it up. And how do you set up the tree? What do you do? Do you have special ornaments? Do you just have the simple bulbs? I think they're bulbs. You have different colors. You could have red, blue, green. Those are the 3 I have. You have clear, see-through, gold, silver. I think any color can be a Christmas color, quite frankly. It's all up to you. It's all up to you. And I mentioned Disney. We have a lot of Disney ornaments. Put some Disney ornaments up on that tree. You have a lot of fun. I think that action in general is a main reason why we're able to maintain the spirit of Christmas as we grow old. And when you're a parent and you have kids, you're not just setting up the tree, you're letting them set up the tree, and you're making it a whole family bonding experience. And that's really what that is. It's all about coming together as a unit, as a family, whether it be as a group of friends who are in an apartment complex. They have an apartment and they have a little tree. That's a fun little thing to do. There's also events around town. There's caroling. I haven't gone caroling in probably a decade, but there's caroling nights. There are events at the church nearby, within your local community. Look for that. Look for those events. Make time to attend those events, because just finding them is half the effort. Finding openings in your schedule where you can set time to actually go to these events and, in general, allow yourself to feel that Christmas spirit. That's the second part that a lot of people don't really get to, myself included. But maybe that's what it's all about. Christmas isn't just a spirit, it's an overall feeling that you have to make space for in your life. And especially at this end of the year where everything is happening at rapid speed. You know, some people start putting on Christmas music after Halloween. I don't really do that. I like to wait till after Thanksgiving. Let me know whether your Christmas song preferences and Mariah Carey blasting starts, I guess, if you want to even call it that. But find the ways to maintain that joy. Find the ways to, in general, keep providing that Christmas spirit, not just for yourself, maybe for your family, maybe your extended family, not just a family that you live with, but once you get to Christmas Day, if you travel down to be with your family and your further extended family on either your mom or your dad's side. My family usually leans dad's side. Since the better part of the last decade and a half, I think we were going to my mom's side for probably the first few years of my life, but I haven't been able to celebrate Christmas with them in quite some time. Maybe that's what Christmas is all about. Maybe it's seeing that on top of living your life, you make time to cherish memories with everyone, with your family, with your friends, and more importantly, even though you might forget that you have to, with yourself.
Bonus content.
So how are we liking the new camera setup? I have a new lens. It's the lens that I've had. I went from an 18 to like 150 or 18 to 200, I believe, millimeter lens to a Pancake 24. Let me know how it looks. I'm really excited to see how this comes out. Bye now.